Hey, welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're back in our Gas Course project, our Deck Knight project. This week we're going to start diving more into more design stuff before we get back into implementation. I really want to lock in the types of cards I want to prototype, what type of card, like the categories, how they will work, how they will kind of align with this HUD design, how we want maybe these icons in this HUD to behave, and the things that cards can do, and really try to start kind of outlining those things and then kind of working outward from there, which, makes sense. Design comes first. If you see me reaching my arm like this, I'm petting my kitty Boo Boo. So don't worry about her. She's a little sleepyhead. I don't know if I can get her into frame. Let me see. Get her for the internet points. Is this a little ball of fun? Doing a little bit of sleeping. So yeah, that's gonna be the plan for today, probably for Thursday as well. Really kind of hone in on these things and then start kind of planning outward from there. So we did a little bit last time. We talked about active ability slots, what these things can really do. And I want active ability slots to require actual activation. It should be the strongest. Could be the strongest types of cards. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if that should be the case. They should be the strong. They should probably be the strongest because and probably maybe have the highest cost. So you have active ability slots. I should probably do like an examples list of different active abilities. So examples, maybe like a maybe like a shock spell or something. Let's try to be super duper creative. I know I've made examples of like, meteor shower. This could be shock waves. This could be things like whole magical sword attacks. Could be AoE. So I guess meteor shower. Shockwaves could probably fall under AoE stuff, but we could probably find some good examples. Abilities. I can always kind of like defer to things like Outriders for some ideas. Maybe you can look at some of the abilities from like Path of Exile, get some inspiration there. References. It's like projectiles. So PoE, Legends, the Elden Ring. Maybe we could do. I'll have to look at Risk of Rain. 2 some extra notes. Find synergies between active abilities. Because I would want to possibly reward things like, you know, say you, when you activate an ability and you put it in your ability slot, and you know, you have your 4. Say you have 2 abilities slots, right? And the first ability does X and the second ability does Y. You go for that payoff where you can activate one and then follow up with another to get some sort of like chained events or something like that. So there's active ability slots. And I guess like card types also have some influence here, I think. Let me make this section for. So I want to say the different card types. I would want to say active card or ability cards. I guess it has to be active ability cards. Maybe there's a better phrase for this. There's active ability cards, there's passive. But yeah, there's going to be different types of cards that fall under passives, I would say. Like, I would want there to be just extra large. I would imagine there'd be like trap cards, could be passive cards, things that are in those slots. There's trap cards, there's like, I guess like, well, they would all kind of be conditional, right? At some point. Gotta think out loud. Like, I want there to be like a lot of the cards, I would imagine being a lot of like instant things, like things that actually don't go into a specific slot, if that makes sense. So I'll just say them as instant. Ooh, Turret, subscribing still. Well, I think you probably took a break, I'm assuming, but thanks for the sub. 59, baby, goddamn, that's too long. Take your money back. I'm doing good, man. Same old, same old. Work is hectic as usual. Trying to find peace and solace here. And you know, it's all good. It's you know how it is. But how are you doing, man? So yeah, we want to say instant cards, and this is where I think it could be interesting with these instant cards. I want there to be summons. I want there to be not bad here. I don't think I told you I got laid off last Monday. Oh shit, really? Okay. That sucks, dick. Do you have much of a safety net? Do you have any plans on what you're doing? Oh, you got severance. Okay, cool. You're Gucci? You're coochie? gonna take at least a month of game dev and try to make it solo indie. I respect that. Yeah, definitely keep sharing your stuff, man. It's all really cool to see. So instant cards, I want there to be summons. I want there to be... I don't know how these ones would work. I've been schmoozing the Twitch community here, making friends this week. Very nice. Do what you gotta do. What other types of cards are there? I had dreams about this game. I had some ideas. I should really write this shit down. I would definitely want to... Like, there should be passive cards that probably would... I feel like passive cards... Obviously, the obvious ones are like buffs and debuffs. Say like stats. But then I would like to see maybe instant cards like card resource cost modification. I don't know if that really makes sense. Like you would play a card that, you know, could make the next card free or reduce the cost of the next card. Definitely would like to see behaviors with this, like, you know, your current and your max card resource costs. Things that kind of modify your deck or your graveyard. Maybe a card you play that puts cards from your graveyard into your hand. Deck, graveyard, locations. I think it might turn to both games are over 30. It's just now one has been up to 2 weeks, the other just 5 days. That's pretty sick. Which one is going along faster? Would you say it's Little Voyagers? Let's take a look. It's prettier. What are you using for these games? Are you doing it in like Game Maker, Godot, Unity? Does it say? Oh. I have to put like examples of what some of these cards are. Stats. Unity. Okay, like a shill. No, man. Instant cards as well. I want there to be maybe like lenses, active debuffs, applied from enemies or something. I'll make the Godot switch one day. I think it's pretty good. I've been trying to learn. But yeah, Unreal still occupies a lot of my time and space. So maybe things surrounding status effects. I don't know what these kind of categories are going for. I'm curious how it handles multiplayer stuff. I only just learned how to do it in Unity. I'm not sure. I try to avoid multiplayer like the plague. I figured it was worth it for LV. Multiplayer study game seems like an open market. That's fair. Yeah, I gotta figure out, like, when it comes to like these categories, I gotta make it more or less obvious. Like, I like the idea of the cards looking something like this, where they're kind of unique looking, and each shape and color means something. So I need to find what my core categories are. Like, I don't think it should just be active or passive, and then like instant ones. I feel like I don't know. These seem like too many. Like, if I include the subcategories, this seems like too many categories. I'm sure I can. I'll have to narrow this down. But yeah, I want to be able to summon stuff. I want to be able to. I guess I feel like card resource modification. I don't want that to really be much of a passive thing. I kind of want it to be instant, I suppose. Cleanses. What else is something that could be just instant that's not explicitly like a passive thing? Looking at this, looking at my core mechanics. Because things I kind of want to, maybe that's also something to add. Like, things I want to avoid. I want to avoid player like explicit healing cards. And I want to avoid that because I feel like that could be what's not taken advantage of. That could be not scuffed either. What's the word? That could be maybe overpowered is the word, but basically taking advantage of it. Like, if people can just keep healing themselves, I don't think it will make the run as interesting, especially if it exists within the cards itself. Like, you could definitely make it some sort of mechanic for what's the word, lifesteal mechanics and stuff like that. I think that much is okay. We'll have to see how that pans out. Also have to make evasive ability cards. Yeah, I gotta think about how to make evasives interesting. Like, you know, we have a roll, and then we have the one example where you turn into a ball of flame. And, you know, this ball of flame, when you dodge through, it applies burn. But I wonder how I can make that more interesting. Well, I'm sure I could make that example more interesting, but how can I make a bunch of evasive cards that I guess, like feel different. And things to think about. Like maybe a different one, I don't know, creates a clone and that clone explodes. Or, like the ability is like it just kind of where you land, there's an explosion or lightning strikes or something. Probably some interesting things. I mean, those could also be passives or something. It's like, okay, your X attack, whatever the case might be, does something else, Figure out what that special is. There could be definitely examples for like the instant one where. So card resource modification. I would have to make like a whole kind of list here. I have a code snippet, right? I just want to start making examples just to get the creative juices flowing, if you feel me. So card resource cost, card resource cost modification card examples. Where did I find these animations? I found them on the Unreal Engine Marketplace. Well, Fab, I guess, is the right word. Where's Fab? Window. Yeah. Oh, that kickstarting the creative engine. Hell yeah. My library. So all the art is coming from Fab in some way. So yeah, the sword animation pack, I believe, is it. There might be some other animations here and there. So some card resource cost modification. So immediately max out. I feel like if you play a card that maxes out, like maxes out your total, resource pool, would that like I don't know how that could work. Just because like if you make it expensive, then you spend all of that just to get back to square zero. So I feel like it should be maybe a rare card or something like that. So add X amount of cost for card resource back to player. Maybe modified by passives. Rarity of card. What other stuff that we could do to the card resource? Maybe next card is free. Next card is cost. Like a car in the winter, you sometimes have to give it a bit more time. True. I take a little bit to warm up. What other cards for card resource modification can there really be? Let me look at this thing. So you can have a max, your current value. Because like other card, like I don't know if there would ever really be an instant card effect that says, okay, you permanently increased your max cost or something, or max amount of card resource. I feel like that could be a passive one, where it's like, okay, for the next 10 seconds or the next 30 seconds, you increased your max card resource slots to like a certain amount. What are some other instance resources? Card resources. Can't think of any more. Move on and we'll think of other ones. So deck and graveyard card examples. Right. Add or replay a random card, or I don't know if replay makes sense. We'll say replay for now. So replay random card from graveyard discard pile. Free. Add random card from graveyard to hand. I also have to look at some references from actual card games, maybe. Add random card from graveyard to the hand. Maybe a card that discard random card from hand, gain its resources, gain its cost to your resource pool. Right now so much. Yeah, that's definitely a huge reference, so I'm glad we're kind of getting those vibes. Maybe I can look at some of the cards for inspiration, see what makes sense in the context of my game. So slay the fire cards. There's a cards list, right? Oh yeah, they have categories too. So they have attack, skill, power, status, and curse. Card rarities, I definitely want to do that. I like that. Common, uncommon, rare cards. I kind of want to work with that. But I want to kind of do card rarity in the same way of like Pokemon cards, where you have like the special illustration rares and the gold cards and stuff like that. Chase cards and everything. That'd be pretty cool. Slay the Spire has 5 stars on Steam. So cards list. Let's look. So there's apply damage, defensive ones. Yeah, I have some other ideas for passive. So trap card. Some space here. But I want there to be so passive card lifetimes. So I want there. I guess, so lifetimes of passive cards. I want there to be indefinite with condition. Grant magic field disappears after its health is 0. This is an example. Explicit duration for attacks by turn seconds. Top cards waits until that is met. Okay, let's look back at some of the cards. So armaments, gain create a card in your hand for the rest of combat. That could also be interesting to do that kind of similar thing where you could upgrade your card, so have a common and uncommon. I need to see about card rarity. How that could work. Oops. Body slam. Flash. Other stuff. Clothesline. Seems to be so many cards. I don't know how many cards there are, but there's a lot. Pummel Strike deals damage. Deal 6 damage. Deal with all damage for all your cards containing strike. I don't know if I don't know if I want my cards to work like that, where it's like if you activate a card, it has additional bonuses based off of whatever else is in your hand. Hey, Dark Hill Interactive, how's it going? Oh, Sword Boomerang. Thunderclap. Sauce, so damage. I don't know if there's any kind of distinct advantage of being able to draw a card at any time, just because it's not turn-based. So I don't know if there's a reason to play a card just to get another card, because it will kind of autofill. I also have to figure out how I want the hands of the card to really work. Because how it works in Slay the Spire, I believe you have a certain amount of points each turn, and you have to play a certain amount of cards to get to exhaust as many points as you can while you can afford it. Then your turn ends, and then in the next turn, I think you draw just one, and then rinse it, repeat. But how how you're going to draw your cards and what exists in your hand and how many could be in your hand. I don't know yet. I also gotta stop being able to rotate. To do this. Yeah, I still gotta think about how drawing phase. Like, I don't think I can be like an explicit drawing phase of your cards. You know, I think it just has to happen naturally. I don't even know what naturally means. Or like if I say. If I say you can, like, your character can only have 4 cards in their hand at a time, that means as soon as you play a card, a new one will be drawn from the deck. And then if there's no more cards left, I feel like you have to... I don't know if I should force the player to have to play the remaining cards in their hand, or, you know, or the graveyard then gets reset back into your normal deck, and you kind of rinse and repeat from that. You know, it probably should shuffle and, you know, kind of go from there. So I have to think about how that will work. That's another question. I'm just gonna put another section here. Player hand, deck, and graveyard. Something to think about soon. Let's take it one thing at a time. So yeah, you got grave, deckhand, examples, random card, gain its cost to your resource pool. Maybe there could be cards that let you see what the enemy's going to be playing. It could be interesting. So you can kind of prepare. I also have to figure out if, you know, how the enemy cards will work. Will they just activate cards like randomly, or is there like a timer? And maybe maybe harder enemies play more cards at higher intervals or something. Do I make that known to the player? You know, so you can spam this thing and kind of go flying. So that's bothering me. I want to see if I can fix that real quick, just to do some implementation work. Let's see if I can find it. So fire, evasive fireball. Because I think I'm ending the ability to early. I think I want to just do untimed out. Maybe there just needs to be like a harsh delay. There's something that's like, oh, I don't want to retrigger instant stability. That's the problem, I think. It'll still probably feel like I can. So there's like, it still kind of happens, but yeah, probably like evasive ability overrides. Maybe they need to have some sort of cooldown associated with them, just so they can't be spammed or something like that. Something like, oh, there is cooldowns. I don't think, did I implement individual cooldown? System, because yeah, some people on my Discord were mentioning the cooldown stuff. I did make a custom cost, which I guess I'm not going to have ability cost anymore. Well, I guess technically there's cost, but it's only to actually grant it and activate it. Well, to just grant it. Activating it's free. Do I have any cooldowns here? I did make some cooldown. Oh, there could be maybe instant cards. Maybe it could be under cleanses, I suppose, but the idea is resetting duration passive effects, so that'd be cool. I'll probably want to make that global cooldown implementation. So let's just grab, there's this dash cooldown. What's the cooldown? 2 seconds. Should hopefully do it. Oh, why does it say ability on cooldown? It shouldn't be on. That's so weird. Yeah, auto commit on activation. Because yeah, if I remove this, I'm gonna get a validation warning, right? Or not. So it's not really doing anything. Maybe I broke something. We'll have to see. But yeah, we have ability slot types. That's definitely going to be something I need to update. So yeah, reset duration based passive abilities. There could be ones where it's like add a stack to equipped abilities. So you could activate it twice before it's removed. Could be interesting. I don't know what is this tricky thing. Almost at 48,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is exciting. Hopefully this weekend I'll have space to make some TikToks, kind of breaking this stuff down, and I also want to make another long form devlog video. And when I say long form, I mean maybe like 10 minutes long, talking about like this UI and maybe the philosophy I'm trying to go for with the cards. Maybe talking about my damage pipeline stuff. All could be useful, I think, and cool. I don't know what you guys think on that. But yeah, let's keep thinking. Let's get the gears going. So I like that. Adding stacks to the active ability slots. Yeah, active. I guess passive cards maybe can I make this kind of connected here. I think that, like, I want ones that modify base player verbs. So X to X for Y seconds. Special attack X. For 1 seconds. Evasive attack X. Because I would definitely want to have, as part of the rarity of certain cards, to like have their duration removed, I guess. So like, if you have a passive card that says, say you have a passive card that says, every time you burn an enemy, you know, what's a good example? Every time you burn an enemy, they I don't know, burn the closest enemy in like a certain range or something. And we say that for like 10 seconds. Maybe then like the rare version of that card goes up to like 30 seconds, and then the super rare one is indefinite, so it's like a permanent passive ability slot. But then you sacrifice using like that slot at that point, and then if you need to grant a new passive one over it, it kind of gets replaced at that point. But yeah, I'm trying to think of interesting passive ability slot examples. But let's look back at the card list. So yeah, put a card from your hand onto the top of the draw pile. I'm not sure if that would be interesting. Maybe there's ones that say, you know, put card of type into your hand. Blood. Thing. Bloodletting, lose HP, that could be an interesting card type. Like burning something kind of where it's like it'll be difficult for some of these cards because you can't really, because of the real-time elements, then you can't really spend too much time handling the cards, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like when I'm thinking in my head, there's a card that says, okay, remove okay. I'm not sure. Something to play around with, I guess. No, my stream is dying, I think. So I guess maybe refund active or passive or evasive ability from slot. Get card resource back. How to player agency on which slotted ability to choose. That's the best way to say it. But yeah, exhaust is more or less that kind of idea, I believe. Uncommon material. So I think so. Uncommon, and then there's common. Gray borders, blue borders. What's the last border color? Is it green? Yellow. Carnage, combust. You know, there's no concept of turns, so I'm not really gonna be anything like that. That could be an interesting passive like this, where like whenever you do something, that could be a passive card. Like okay, whenever you refund an ability, something happens, right? You can draw an extra card or reshuffle the deck or something. Once you kind of get what actions are doable, then you can kind of domino effect different types of cards from it. So if you know you can refund a card, you can say, okay, if you refund a card, there could be other things that happen when that takes place. So maybe increase attack damage or something when you do that, or apply burn. When in doubt, always apply burn, you know? It could be passive cards. that increase the passive gain of your card resources, or it kind of seems not limitless. There's definitely gonna be limits. Let me also look up Hearthstone cards. So Magic cards. Their cards list, which I'm sure it's gonna be fucking huge. So so the basic idea is refreshing mana, so refreshing card resources, the common theme. Kitty attack. Boo boo. So Death Rattle, it says does something when it dies. Resurrects with 1 health the first time it dies. That's something when you play it from your hand. I guess there could be definitely things I want to say. Explicit healing cards. I want to make a note. I want to exclude healing summons. So let's look back. Hearthstone. So at the end of so anything related to turns we want to avoid. If we have concept of waves, that could be something interesting. We would say like at the beginning of the wave, this happens, or when a wave ends, something happens. We could potentially increase potencies of things based on how many of a certain card is in your hand. I don't really know how to say it, but I'll maybe say something like abstract card concepts. The kitty wants to leave. Move you to my lap. We love a kitty in this house. Boo boo. So what can I write here? So abstract card concepts. Probably use sticky notes for this. Probably as well for card rarity. Let's look up Pokemon TCG rarity categories. Common, uncommon, and rare. And then there's double rare, ultra rare, illustration rare, special illustration rare, and then secret rare. So yeah, definitely want to say something like Let's give ourselves some space here. I want to say like common. We'll say rare. And I want to say special. Maybe 4 categories is good. So then secret. We'll have to talk about what those really mean later. So abstract card concepts increase strength of card based on, and then we'll say maybe number of cards in number, current number of cards in deck, current number of cards in graveyard. Discord pile. Because I wonder how that could work. Like, would I need to make a discard pile like an attribute or something? So every time you use a card, we subtract or we add to the discard pile, or do we use these as like abstract numbers? We just pull it from the deck component, whatever we end up getting. Not sure. Current number cards in hand. Same concepts as above, but for specific types or categories. So that's an abstract card concept, I guess. I had more in my head, but it's just not there. Let me put these references here too. I just increase the size at all. Oh no. Yes. I think that's this one. This one. Oh. Yeah. Okay. This one. So we have them there for the future. Maybe I could say like these sibling cards. Cards that get more powerful when copy of it is in the player's hand. Cards that can only be used in unison. This could be like the whole Exodia thing. So abstract card concepts, obviously besides card rarity, what else? Is there? Paint the card based on that. I just want to say I was in here the other day talking about performance problems on a not so ideal function in PP. After moving the whole component to C++ by your recommending, it's basically solved. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Did you change anything when migrating it to code, or did you really just do it 1-to-1 and it's just the performance improvement is just built in because of it being in C++? Oh, we got a kitty again in here. I don't know if I like the concept of stealing cards from like an enemy. I'll write it down. No bad ideas yet. I'll also have to think about like, because yeah, the danger, I guess, is if I allow you to steal cards from an opponent's hand, then that card has to work for the player. So if an opponent's card says it can do this, then it should be able to do that for the enemy. So it could be potentially dangerous. Cat is teething on a box in the background. There was definitely some changes, but it's almost 1-to-1. I think part of the problem was my subsystem was calling into a blueprint function, which triggered the slow function. Yeah, probably. Well, I'm glad it worked out. That's awesome to hear. I think did you also post into the Discord server? I recall. I thought I saw a post like that. I don't know which channel it was, but maybe I'm misremembering. But either way, glad it worked out. That's awesome. Yeah, let's look at a little bit more at some card list stuff. So yeah, so there's upgraded. Choose an attack or power card. Add 2 copies of that card into your hand. So there is the idea of upgraded cards, but I feel like I want that to be what the rarity does. So maybe there could be like a card that increases the rarity temporarily. You want me to mod when I'm watching? Can ban the link bots for you? Oh no, don't worry, man. I usually take care of it. I just got lazy and I got distracted for a second, but I appreciate it. You can just vibe, man. Just chill. I'll send Terry after him. I also gotta be careful about like is the card rarity going to be like 1-to-1 where it's like, okay, for the sake of example, when I have such a card, right? If I have a card that says increase the rarity of a random card, and in my hand I have a common card, does that mean it becomes rare for that turn when I use it? If it's rare, does it then become a special illustration rare? And then can there really be such a thing as a secret rare? Like in that kind of packing order, should there just be a trio of rarity, and then the secret rare is just so secret you have to pull it from like a pack or something? one of a kind of thing. Not sure yet. Yeah, I posted. I think it was in one of the BP channels. Yeah, okay, probably in the Blueprint scripting channels, right? Yeah, okay. You're just because I think it's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference. I'm guessing you're Shady Nasty, or is it Shad Dynasty? It ended up being around 600 lines to move the whole component. I mean, you should see some of those stuff like in Epic's code and some of the code that I see at work. There's thousands of lines, so it's not going to be the end of the world when it's 600. So I think maybe this could work where there's rare, common, rare, and special illustration rare. Like there's a three level thing, and then a secret rare is kind of its own beast. And probably not every card should have a secret rare, but every card should maybe have special illustration rare. Or should there be common, uncommon, and rare? And then these two are its own little special flavors. I'm not too sure. It's like for them, it's pretty much. Or maybe we just steal that mechanic 1-to-1 where it just can be upgraded. And so the categories of card isn't really saying you turn this card into a rare card. It's just you improve the potency and upgrade it or something. I'm not an expert in C++, so that 600 was a solid achievement for me. I've spent like 85% of the last year and a half in BP. Yeah, that's definitely a huge accomplishment, honestly. Being able to like translate anything from blueprints to C++, it takes time, but you kind of figure out the names of the functions and how the ordering really works. And a wild cat has appeared. Oh my god, she's disrupting the whole ecosystem. So yeah, congratulations on that. That's huge. Yeah, so card rarity maybe needs to be thought out a little bit more if it connects to, can a single card have such a line, or do the cards just can cards be upgraded? Maybe that's a mechanic I don't want. Like the only reason why there could be a need for a card upgrade is to unlock that kind of agency for other cards to do. So it's like, okay, you can upgrade a card for this turn, it does this, or and you can get some interesting domino effects that way. But maybe it's not really a path we want to go with. Status effects applications, definitely want to maybe add a little more detail there, where it's like, hey, convert upgrade status effect burn comes mechanic, etc. Let's see, like I see a lot more. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not, but I'm seeing a lot more interesting synergies happening between passives and instant cards than I am with actual like ability cards at the moment. Not sure how to interpretate that at the moment. Still a lot to think about. But it's good that we're asking these questions. So like I want cards to, modify this combo in some way, or you say like your jump attacks do this, or because I'm still not confident if I want a jump attack. It's cool in practice, but like I don't know, it seems like it's easily spammable, and players probably could take a pretty good advantage of it. So I just gotta be careful on like what it does, and maybe there has like longer recovery, so you gotta like you can't immediately jump again or something. So you have to like do that. I don't know. I gotta figure out really what that will look like. I want there to be a special attack for when you come out of a roll or evasive attack. That could be a hook into some cards. Kind of like Hades. There's like a dash attack or whatever they end up calling it. Figure out some of this, because like all those pluses didn't really make sense there. Yeah, there's speed multiplier. Now I'm a little bit faster. Yeah, I gotta figure out what's good. And then yeah, you have the special attack, so you have your basic combo, and then you have this thing. And I wonder if this thing should exist. I think it should, but maybe that's just where your active ability set comes in. I feel like something like this makes sense, having some sort of AoE slam. And this AoE slam can be just based off of, I don't know, some arbitrary thing, like another builder spender, or it could just always be available. But maybe it can be interrupted, because like what I don't like about the animation, at least, is like this like jump in the air. We'll have to see. And then you have, blocking. I don't know if I want there to be blocking or parrying or anything anymore. I'm not sure. Like, is it beneficial still to be able to block? Or should that be part of the cards and stuff? Again, more of the Hades approach, where it's like really just about evading and stuff. Maybe there could be a card instead that, it's a passive, and it gives you a bunch of shields like around you or something, and it absorbs 3 hits or X amount of damage or something. I also gotta be careful about my screen shake, because now the cards need to be kind of readable, and I don't want to know if it should be constantly shaking. I gotta see why that healing's happening. I wonder if my debugger will help me with that. Hopefully. But yeah. I think there definitely needs to be a part 2. I really need to start keeping a journal or something. To start writing some stuff down. Yeah, I like the idea of summons and constructs. I think it was the other word, like constructs. Or, you could spawn something that is in the world, and it does something like it's like a turret or something that shoots enemies. We'd have to see. What would you recommend regarding equipment system animations? Currently using motion match. Should I stick with choosers or switching between weapon type, idols, and attacks? Sorry about off-topic stuff. Well, choosers are pretty powerful in that regard. So I think that's a good idea, only because, like, if you grant a tag to the player, for example, when you have a sword equipped versus a staff or a spear or whatever, you'll be able to use that tag in the switch of a chooser. So you'll be able to, like, okay, you know, find basic attack 1 in the nested chooser for spear attacks and play this animation or for that idol. They use choosers for locomotion animations in the gameplay animation example project, so you know it's usable. Now, I also need this stuff being able to rotate. I wonder how I can do that. I think I know how, but we'll see. Yeah, yeah. Boop. I just gotta be happy with the basic move. Like, the combo is, I think, fine. I just have to kind of... I kind of have to label certain parts of the basic action, or the base action set. Or it's like, you know, the final hit of the combo can do something with these cards, you know, and then there's this, like, special one where it's like, oh, this charge is faster, or larger range, or does a lot of knockback. I gotta also, like, kind of define, like, key statuses, like knockback, knockdown, dizzy, burn, frost, electrocuted, toxic, bleeding. Like, what makes sense and why? Because, you know, the more status effects you do, like, there's a lot of possibility in that, but if there's too many, there might be just too much overlap. Like, truly, you know, from a gameplay perspective, is there much difference between bleeding and burning? I guess it depends on the game. You know, burning can simply be a damage over time, whereas, like, a bleed is like a slow plus damage over time. But yeah, I would like to kind of encapsulate some things, or, like, I would like to see there to be a slow, and then the upgraded version of slow is complete time stop, where, like, you know, they're frozen in place. But then what's the difference between that and, you know, frost and frostbite? It's kind of the same concept. So figuring out what those categories are and then just assigning it a status effect, I think, is probably the way to go. Because, yeah, what's the difference between that and something like dizzy? It's the same thing on paper. You know, there could be, maybe there's a status effect on, like, the enemy component that's playing the cards or something, where, you know, any card they play is applied to their units instead of the players. So any debuffs to the players actually applied to the enemies or something. But yeah, I think a limited set of status effects makes a little bit more sense than instead of trying to make, like, 20 status effects where there's so much overlap that you don't have a reason to do one or the other. It's just, you know, pick your poison kind of thing. So more research I'll need to do for status effects, honestly, because right now I just have burn. Like, all this stuff is so interconnected. I don't know where to start with one or the other. Like, they need to be in parallel. Yeah, still a lot of work to do, but I'm super excited. I really feel like this game can really work well. I don't want to completely reinvent the wheel, but I want to try to combine these elements into something new. You know what I mean? So let's hope we do that. we've been going for an hour and a half now, so I think that's long enough for today's stream. So thanks everybody for watching. It's always very much appreciated. I believe the stream is active, so feel free to join our Discord. It should link. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe if you're following here on YouTube. If you're following from Twitch, make sure to follow there as well. It's all very much appreciated. We'll be back on Thursday, hopefully, with more design work. I'll have to figure out at one point, am I ready to prototype? Because again, there's some things, technically we have a prototype. There is things that are doing something, but I kind of want to take it more seriously compared to my mock-up for the UI. So I'll know I need passive slots. I know I'll need an evasive slot. I know I need active ability slots. I want to move the stuff up here, kind of give the space to where things will be in a very simple way, and then figure out some interesting cards, how they interact, and what systems are needed for that. So it's gonna be a very exciting year, I hope. So until next time, have a good night, and I will see you soon.